Good morning, everybody. This is Justin with the Coast Morning Report, and I'm excited today to talk with Leslie Dougherty, the broker-owner of Barnes & Associates, Sothebys International Realty, who is the sponsor of Coast Morning Report. Leslie, how are you?
I'm really good, Justin. Thanks so very much. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Yes, and just before we started here, we were talking about you being the broker owner of Barnes & Associates, and that's what can you tell us about that? How long has that been the case?
Well, it's been a quiet transition, but I've owned the business for 2 years now. I first joined Barnes & Associates Sothebys in January 2019 as a broker associate and office manager. And then shortly after that, Michael Barnes approached me to see if I had an interest in purchasing the business from him. He wasn't going to retire from real estate, but he decided the management and ownership portion he was ready to hand off to the right person. And while it wasn't really on my radar, I soon learned it was an opportunity I could not pass up. So we started that process, and in August of 2019, he sold the business to me, and it was a quiet transition. We decided not to make a big announcement because Michael's very active in real estate, and we didn't want people to think he was retiring from the business. He was just retiring from the ownership portion.
Yeah.
And he has a great reputation and legacy, and I feel very fortunate to be a partner with him in this endeavor. Absolutely.
And so Sothebys, it's a name a lot of people are familiar with. What's, in terms of real estate, not a lot of people know that Sotheby's does real estate, and obviously you're very active in it. What can you tell us about the difference that Sotheby's has in terms of representing buyers and sellers?
Well, I did work in my previously with 2 other major franchises in my real estate career. So joining Sotheby's was something for me to learn and jump into to understand the culture of this franchise. And I will tell you, Justin, there is no other franchise I would be affiliated with. It is a luxury name. When you say the word Sotheby's, people immediately take a different thought process of luxury and high end. But it's the service that we provide. It's not based on the price point. We represent clients at all price points, but we pride ourselves on the service that the name gives to people when they think of Sotheby's. The culture of the franchise is very collaborative and actually very family-oriented. Our network is global. We have Sotheby International Realty offices, globally, and we have a very strong referral network where we refer clients from, Cambria to New York to Washington, D.C. to Europe.
Yeah.
And it's very connected. We're very supportive of each other. It is not a competitive nature. It is support and collaboration.
Well, with that, what can you tell us about how real estate is doing in Cambria right now?
Well, it is a very different market. It's something that we've not seen, and it's the same across the country that low inventory is a challenge, though our inventory is starting to tick up a little bit. But prices are not dropping, and I think that's what buyers need to understand is even as more homes come on the market, our prices are not dropping. And so the opportunity that they think is out there of a price drop or a bubble burst. It's not going to happen. We have a very different economy from what was in place in 2007 when the real estate bubble burst occurred. So there's a lot of cash out there. There are people who are well qualified to buy homes. Lending is strong. They're not doing the lending that helped lead to the real estate bubble prior. I mean, you have to qualify. You have to provide your proof of funds. So it is a challenge in managing expectations on both the seller and the buyer side. But as I tell any prospective client, if today's the day you want to purchase, we can make that happen. If today's the day you want to sell, we can make that happen. but don't go in with false expectations. We need to be realistic on what is occurring.
And I think it's safe to say that people's viewpoints have really shifted with the pandemic. No matter how you view everything that's gone on, there seems to be, at least in people I've talked to and what I'm seeing, is that people's mindset around home and travel and where they work and how they work, and that's all changing. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it definitely has changed, especially for, as the workforce went remote, that changed overnight into the need for, working from home space or homeschooling space. We're seeing people deciding that they want a home with more rooms. It used to be the downsizing effect, but even, the baby boomers, they don't necessarily want to downsize. They like that space. They want the ability to have the home office or the home gym because, the past 18 months or so, our whole lifestyle pattern shifted very quickly.
Yeah. And I think that there are some residual effects that show up in real estate. And you were saying just before we got on that last year you thought home prices were reaching an upper end, and this year that trend has continued.
Yeah, so just about a year ago, September, October, we had a huge climb in sales volume, and October was the month where the Central Coast and the county saw the highest number of homes sold at a high sales volume. Thinking, as the holidays approach, we've hit the ceiling. Well, come 2021, we just kept going, and March, April, May, another run up. So what occurred a year ago was very significant in this year, in where we are today. Did things level off a little bit? Sales price, maybe in June there was a shift in change in the pattern, but not in price drops.
Sure. So in Cambria specifically, as a professional who's watched the market, what are the opportunities there, either for buying or selling? Not necessarily just what's on the market, but in terms of neighborhoods to consider or to watch. If somebody's wanting to move to a different part of Cambria or lives outside the area and really is interested in living there, what neighborhood should they keep their eyes on?
Well, most people coming to Cambria want an ocean view. I mean, that's very typical because that's where we live. We live, a seaside resort town. I would say if anyone the opportunity to find a home with a different view, an eastern view towards like the Santa Lucia Mountains, where you have awesome sunrises, those homes are great opportunities because they'll probably be a little bit on the lower priced than the Ocean View home, and there won't be as much of a demand because people are looking on the other side. It depends on what feel of a home you want. Our neighborhoods are very specific. You can have your seaside little cottage on Park Hill where you can walk down to Moonstone Beach or walk to town, or you could be up on Lodge Hill, which is a more forested feel, and a little bit more space away from everyone there.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're looking for. We have Pine Knolls, which is a very a residential primary residence feel, and so it just depends on what the dream looks like to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you've been in the Cambria area for how long?
So we purchased our home in 2014 in spring, and it took us about 6 months to get down here full time. So we've been here just about 7 years.
Okay, yeah. And when you are approached by folks from outside the area and they're wanting to get to know Cambria a little bit better and certainly looking for a place to live, do you give them any specific piece of advice or kind of point them in a certain direction?
Well, I share with them my own experience, having lived my entire life up in Sacramento, which is, a large city, suburbia, that coming to Cambria was a bit of a culture shock. It's a small town, and it gets quiet after 9 o'clock at night. And, the convenience factor isn't there. But then all of a sudden, other things become more important, and the ability to just be and enjoy the nature of our area. And we have the ocean, we have great walking trails and hiking trails, and we have a community that waves to people. I mean, you're driving down the street and everyone waves at each other. It's a very friendly community, proud of its town, and very supportive of the businesses here. It's a more relaxed way of life.
Sure.
And that's, where else can you find that? Which is why many people, the pandemic brought a new set of buyers here because of people wanting to get out of the high density or being able to find a second home that they can come and work remotely from when they need a break. So more and more people are discovering Cambria, but it is a hidden gem here on our Central Coast. That's for sure.
And are you involved in the community in any way?
I'm actually working on the name tags for this upcoming Scarecrow Festival. That as they make the scarecrows, and we'll be putting them out as of October 1st. My volunteer to do all those name tags that I have to get to the computer on at some point. And then we do support through sponsorship the various events, upcoming Art and Wine Festival, the Film Festival, which is growing and becoming a great event for our community. So we like to sponsor those type of events that help, the community and the volunteers who support those.
Can you tell me about some meaningful transactions you've had recently, or in the in the history of your career that stuck out?
I would say, Justin, probably the most meaningful transactions I've done have been in representing each of my 3 kids in the purchase of their first home. So from Sacramento to Los Osos to Cambria, I've had the privilege to help each child buy their first home, which as a parent is, a proud moment to see their ability to purchase a home and demonstrate their independence, but also create stability and security in their lives. And then as a realtor, first-time home buyers are one of my favorite sets of clients. We don't have that many here in Cambria, so I miss that. But a first-time home buyer is like one of the best type of referrals an agent can receive. They're loyal. They love you. You help them reach their dream, and they establish. They stabilize a neighborhood as a home becomes owner occupied, and they start building their own financial portfolio with a home purchase. So I would say helping my kids or being a part of that journey with them is probably the best part of my career that I've had.
Yeah, and you only get to do it once as a first-time home buyer, but I'm sure you will assist them in future transactions as well.
Oh, yeah, yes, and help list one of the kids' home where we did maintenance work. And I was painting, cleaning carpets, and everything else we do to help prep a home, and then just giving advice when they purchase out of the area where I can't directly be involved, but can give them, resources and advice on making a sound decision, in their new location.
Sure, and I'm sure they've watched you work as a realtor, but never experienced it firsthand. Did they have any kind of feedback or impression from that experience, being on the receiving end as a client, as it were?
I would say they knew they had the best protecting their back, and that I was not going to let them, fall or make a wrong decision. That at the end, it is their decision to purchase, but I was right there the whole time, guiding and facilitating the process, which is what I do for every client. So, and they have seen what I do for my clients, and so I think they were excited that they could become part of that process.
Well, Leslie, it was a pleasure talking with you and getting some perspectives on real estate in Cambria and listening to your career and how that has changed over time and how it integrated into the community of Cambria. Again, appreciate the sponsorship of Coast Morning Report, and look forward to talking with you down the road as well.
Thank you so much, Justin. I look forward to every Monday at 7 a.m. to see that edition drop into my email and to see what the news is and who's going to be the focus of the interview. So thanks again for this conversation. I greatly appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.